Alright, so this is the last video going over the extra practice paper unit review for test number 1. And this is number 23. Convert 221, a base 10 numeral, to a base 4 number. So I'm going from our system to theirs. And we know we have to divide. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is write out all the exponential values of 4, base 4. So 4 to the 0 is 1, 4 to the first is 4, 4 to the second is 16, 4 to the third is, I believe it's, hold on. Yeah, it's 64. All right, I'm getting close because I'm trying to get to 221. So let's do 4 to the fourth, which is 256. 4 to the fifth is 1024, so that's too big. So my starting point is going to be 4 to the third. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out 4 to the third, and I'm going to take this number, 221, and I'm going to divide it by 4 to the third, which is 64. So if you take your calculator, you do 221, you divide that by 64, and you get 3.453125. So I'm going to use just the 3 because I have to perform long division. So I'm going to take 3 times 64, and when I do that, I get 192. Now I'm going to subtract. So 221 minus 192 is 29. Okay, so I'm interested in that remainder. I'm going to drop down to the next base system over, which is 4 to the second. So I'm going to take 29 and divide it by 4 to the second, which is 16. So 29 divided by 16 is 1.8125. 1 times 16 is 16, and now I'm going to subtract to find the remainder. So 9 minus 6 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. I'm going to go down to the next base system down, which is 4 to the first. So I'm going to take my remainder, and I'm going to divide it by 4 to the first, which is 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Again, I'm going to take that remainder, and I'm going to divide it by the next power down, which is 4 to the 0. So 4 to the 0 is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1, and I'm done. So once you get to the 0 power, when you do these, you're finished. So the answer is going to be 3131. I grabbed these numbers up here. That's what I'm writing out. Base 4. So you need that little subscript. Okay, let's look at 24. Convert the following hexadecimal numeral to a base 10 number and enter in your answer. Remember with hexadecimal that anything above 9 we start using letters. So just as a reminder that A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E equals 14, and F equals 15. Okay, so because I'm going from their system to ours, I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to do 9 times 16 to the plus 4 times 16 to the plus E. E is 14. So 14 times 16 to the plus 5 times 16 to the plus 2 times 16 to the plus. Now C is 12. So 12 times 16 to the plus. Finally, we get down to 2. So 2 times 16 to the. Now the 2 is in the 16 to the 0 spot. The 12, or C, is in the 16 to the first spot. The next 2 is in 16 to the second. The 5 is in 16 to the third. The 14, remember that was E. E is in 16 to the fourth position. The 4 is in 16 to the fifth. And finally, the 9 is in 16 to the sixth. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. We got to figure out what 16 to the sixth is. And that's a very large number. It's 9 times 16777,216. Okay, so I'm going to take that number, multiply by 9, and when I do that, I get 150,994,944. Okay, I'm going to put some commas in there just to make this a little bit easier. Plus. Now I have to find out what 16 to the 5th is. So 16 raised to the 5th power is 4 times 1048,576. So multiply that by 4 in the calculator, and I get 419,4304. So again, putting in commas, moving down. With 16 to the 4th. 16 to the 4th is 65536, so I have 14 times 65536. And guys, I'm just going to put a little check mark over these just so I can keep track of where I'm at. So multiply that by 14, and I get 917,504. Okay, plus. Now 16 squared is 256. So 2 times 256 equals 512. Plus. This becomes 12 times 16 equals 192. Plus 2 times 16 to the 1st, which is 1. So plus 2. Okay, so now I'm going to add everybody up. So I'm doing 2 plus 192 plus 512 plus 917504 plus 4194,304 plus 150,9949,44. And again, I'm going to take a minute and make sure I have everything here and that I typed it in right, because if I don't, then it's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to do it again. So I'd rather take my time and just check really quick. Okay, looks good. So I'm going to hit enter, and the answer is going to be 156,107,458. So it's 156,107,458. So that is the answer to this one. Okay, all right. For part B, convert the following base 10 to a hexadecimal. So we're going backwards. So we're going from our system to theirs. So we know we have to divide. If I'm base 16 hexadecimal, I have to write out all the powers. So 16 to the 0 is 1. 16 to the 1st is 16. 16 squared we found to be 256. 16 to the 3rd is 4096. And that number is big, so I'm going to keep on going. 16 to the 4th. That's 65536, so 65,000. Not close enough. So 16 to the 5th. 104,8576. Okay, we're in the millions now. So let's just check to see what 16 to the 6th is. 16777,216. Okay, getting closer. 16 to the 7th. 268,435,456. Too big. So I'm going to start here, 16 to the 6th. Okay. And I'm going to let myself have a little note. So I'm taking 208,354,716, and I'm dividing that by 16 to the 6th, which is, and and I'm just going to put a little note because I didn't leave enough room. 16,777,216. So I'm dividing these two. So 208,354,716 divided by 16,777,216. And when I do that, I get 12.41 blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to ignore that because remember I want to find the remainder. So I'm going to do 16,777,216 times 12. And when I do that, I get 201,326,592. And I'm going to subtract these two. So 208,354,716 minus 201,326,592, and I get 7028124. Okay, I'm going to dip down to 16 to the 5th power this time around. So I'm going to take the remainder, that's what I'm interested in, 7028124, and I'm going to divide it by 16 to the 5th, which is 1048576. Okay. All right, so 7028124 divided by 1048576. And when I do that, I get 6.7025, etc. So I'm going to use a 6, and I'm going to take 1048576 times 6. And when I do that, I get 629,1456. And that's what's going to be subtracted from 702,8124. So 702,8124 minus 629,1456. I get 736668. Again, I'm interested in this remainder. I'm going to dip down to the next place system, which is 16 to the 4th, and I'm going to divide this 736668 by 65,536. Okay, so divided by 65536, and I get 11.240, etc. So I'm going to take 65536 times 11. And when I do that, I get 720896. I'm going to subtract. So 736668 minus 720896, and that equals 15772. So again, I'm interested in this remainder, and I'm going to divide it by the next base down. So 15772, I'm going down to 16 to the 3rd. 16 to the 3rd is 4,096. So I'm taking 15,772 divided by 4096, and when I do that, I get 3.85, etc. So I'm going to take 4096 times 3. And when I do that, I get 12,288. Subtract. So 15772 minus 12288, and that gives me 3,484. Okay, we're getting there. So I have to move down. I'm interested in this remainder, and I have to move down to the next position down, which is 16 to the 2nd. So 3484 divided by 16 to the 2nd, which is 256. Okay, so 3484 divided by 256 gives me 13.609. So I'm going to use a 13. So 13 times 256 gives me 3328. So 3484 minus 3328 will give me 156. Okay, I'm interested in this remainder. I'm going to divide it by the next base system down. So divide it by 16 to the first, which is 16. And when I do that, I get 9.75. 16 times 9 equals 144. Subtracting, I get 12. So I'm going to take the remainder, divide it by the last place system down, which is 16 to the 0. Okay, so 12 gets divided by 16 to the 0, which is 1, and that goes into it 12 times. Now, before I write my answer, remember we're in hexadecimal, so A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E equals 14, and F equals 15. So this first value is a 12, so that I have to let equal C. So my answer is going to be C, and then 6, and then 11. Remember 11 is B, so C6B, and then a 3, and then 13. 13 is D, and then 9, and then 12 is C. So my answer is going to be C6, B3, D9, C6, base 16. Okay, so that was number 24. And I'm going to go ahead and just do 25 just to finish this off. Convert the following base 10 numeral to a base 2 numeral. So we're going from our system to theirs. And remember, we're base 2. So the answer, or the beginning number, is 42. So I have to write out all the exponential values, or the positions of base 2. So 2 to the 0 is 1, 2 to the first is 2, 2 to the second is 4, 2 to the third is 8, 2 to the fourth is 16, 2 to the fifth is 32, and 2 to the sixth power is 64. All right, so I'm going to have to start with 2 to the fifth. So I'm going to take 42 and divide it by 2 to the fifth, which is 32. So 32 goes into this once. And the remainder is going to be 10. So now I'm going to go down to 2 to the fourth. So I'm going to take the remainder of 10, divide it by 2 to the fourth, which is 16. That doesn't work, so I'm going to put a 0. I'm going to take the remainder of 10 and drop it down to the next base system down, which is 2 to the third. 2 to the third is 8. 8 goes into 10 once. So, okay, so 1 times 8 is 8. I get the remainder of 2. Okay, so I'm going to take that remainder of 2, dip it down to the next base system down, which is 2 to the second, which is 4. That 4 does not go into 2 evenly, so I'm going to put a 0 there. Okay, I'm going to take that remainder of 2, drop it down to the next base system down, which is 2 to the first, which is 2. 2 goes into itself once. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Now, I have this last position I have to take care of, which is 2 to the 0, which is 1. 1 goes into 0, 0 times. So, my answer is going to be in order 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, base 2. Okay, excuse me. That's the end of this whole unit review. So practice that before the test.